This is from Lucybridge Academy, Mr. Girma, English teacher. Then today we see about this purpose clause. So when we see the title purpose clause, it tells us why we do the purposes. For instance, why do you come to school? You state your purposes. Why do you do something? That means, okay, you state your purpose. When you state your purpose, there are structures that you are requested to be familiar. Then here, I can show you that means with the help of what we call, okay, this when we intend to state purpose. For instance, here, based on what we call, okay, clause and phrase, we categorize. First, let me show you that one. And then we do have different purposes. For instance, one with so that, in order to, so as to are followed by the first step in this one, phrase. Then, for instances, she woke up. Okay, woke up early in the morning. Early in the morning. To arrive, look, to arrive, or we can say here, to arrive to, or in order to, so as to arrive at school on time. Yes. Have you seen? Why did she wake up early in the morning? That means we can use to, we can use in order to, we can use so as to. But what comes after this so as to, in order to must be phrase. About phrase and clause, last time or else on the previous lessons, I told you as you be very familiar, because that is very important, or else key point, because that knowledge helps us to tackle or else to write in different structure, in different pattern. Therefore, the knowledge of clause and phrase is very important. As a student, as high school student, you are expected to be familiar with that. And then look here, this is when it is phrase. For instance, again, I can show you here, look, if it is so that, in order that, these are followed by clauses. Take care, student. When we say clause, at least what did we say previously? That is subject plus verbs. There must be subject plus verb minimum when you say clauses. This is what you have to remember. But if it is a phrase, that means in order to, so as to, in the note already I gave you, you can refer in detail, but I want to explain, state for you how much it is very simple when you intend to state this purpose with the appropriate structure or else pattern. For instance, here, in order to, so as to are followed by phrase. For instance, here I gave you one example, but if it is so that and in order that, it is followed by clause. When we say clause, minimum subject plus verb. I hope you are very familiar. For instance, the same question, the same statement, we can rewrite with this pattern. Look here. She woke up early in the morning so that, or in order that she could arrive at school on time. Have you seen the difference here? That means when we use so that, the pattern says it must be followed by clause. Therefore, that's why here, after so that, or else in order that, we use subject plus verb. Yes? Subject plus verb. This is an important point. In exam, in different examination, in different tests, you are asked. Therefore, you have to identify. Both structure helps us to state purpose, but we have to know how we use each them and what makes them different. That means, yes, already here I gave you in the note, that means you will have a lot concerning this one, then things will be clear for you. So remember this one, that means, okay, their usage when we say in order to and to. So this is what I need to tell you, or else concerning this one. Concerning this purpose clause, that means, yes. Look, purpose clause, when we talk about purpose, we use the following structure. Already I gave you this one in order to, so as to are followed by phrase. This is what I gave you. For instance, yes, here you do have examples. He took the course in order to get a better job. These are being planted by the roadside so as to. Have you seen after in order to and so as to, we use what? Verb phrases. Reduce, get a better job. These are verb phrases. Therefore, when we use this one, that means, okay, we use what we call that must come is what we call, okay, this phrase. And then in spoken English, much more common is simply to use a to infinitive without in order or else so as to express the same thing. For instance, he took the course to get a better job. And most of the time in communication, we use this infinitive with to. So it is possible, it doesn't have a problem. But the problem is in negative. Some scholars or else some reference books say that we don't use to when we make negatives. For instance, here, to make a negative sentence with in order to or so as to, we put not before to. That means, here example, he kept the speech vague in order not to. Don't forget, that not must come before to. So as not to, in order not to. Don't forget this one, because sometimes to confuse you in exam, they may bring not between in and in order, between so and as. That type of structure is not present. This is a structure. Even when you intend to make a sentence that status purpose, you can use like this, okay, negative, and then take care about the meaning, okay. When I tell you, when I teach you concerning this, the rule, student again and again, is in addition to mastering the rule, it is good to be familiar with the meaning. What does it mean when the sentence is constructed with the help of this purpose? You have to know. So where negative or else affirmative is needed, it helps you if you know the meaning. For instance, he kept the speech vague in order not to commit himself to one side or the other, or else the land was bought quickly so as not to delay the building work. Yes, have you seen? And then the meaning matters here, and then you have to give emphasis for the meaning. The other, that means, as I told you, most of the time that means, okay, some scholars says, or some reference says in English, that studied a lot, they say that we don't use infinitive to in negative. That means it's not that much common. Yes? I carry the knife carefully in order not, or so as not to cut myself. Not carefully, not to cut. Yes? Remember, because already we said that some reference book says that we don't use to infinitive. That means, okay, to make negative, we don't say like this. And then if it is negative, it is better to use in order not and so as not to. This is what I need to tell you. The other pattern, again, this is additional for you just to have a detailed knowledge about this one is, for instance, however, compare negative sentence with in order so as to infinitive plus but it says. Let me give you, because it is good to be familiar with different pattern that helps us to state purposes. For instance, here, I came to see you not in order to, or else not so as to complain, but in order to, or else so as to apologize. Here, don't forget, in this structure, we don't use, for instance, previously we said not must come what? Before to. But here, in order not, so as not to cut, that means, okay, this comes here. Remember, you can compare. Here, not comes before what? Before to. When we use in order not and so as not. But here, take care, okay? This is another type. Not comes before in order to. Have you seen? Not. Here, not comes before in order to. In order to, or else before so as to. Because I told you previously, when we want to make negative purpose with in order and so as, we say in order not to and so as not to. But here, this is another structure or else pattern. I came to see you not in order to. It's not like the previous. You have to identify. So, or else no so as to complain, but in order to, or else so as to apologize. This is what you have to be familiar. It is good to be familiar with the different pattern of what we call, okay, this purpose clause. The other may be, what I need to tell you is that, the other may be, for instance, yes, here we can see not only this one that I told you concerning this purpose when we intend to state purpose, even with for instance, for when when we use or else intends to use purpose, it is followed by noun. Yes, maybe I'll give you what we call, okay, the detail concerning this one, concerning this for and what we call, okay, to. But if it is to, that means it is followed basically by verbs. For instance, she went. Very simple example. Let me give you. She went to London for holiday. Holiday. Holiday is what? It's a noun, is, but she went to London. We can say she went to London to study English. Have you seen? To study English is the difference. That means even for helps us to state purpose, but it is followed by noun or else noun phrase. That means, okay, this is what you have to remember. The other again, maybe in the note later on I will show you. We'll see again. That means, okay, you will have a note. That means very extraordinary note that can make clear for you together with examples. So the other one is less than for fear. Again, less than for fear that help us to state purpose. But look here, most of the time when we use lest and for fear that, it is not least. Don't forget, lest and for fear that, they are followed by when the second sentence that comes after lest is constructed with the help of should. For instance, here look, she studied hard lest she failed the exam. Have you seen? She should must be present here. She should fail the exam. Yes. Here she should fail the exam. Don't forget that, miss, okay? With less than, instead of less, we can use for fear that. It is followed by clause. Then that clause is stated with what? We should. Don't forget this one. In the note, already I put for you, yes? This is what you have to remember. We do have different types. Then my intention is, as you be familiar with, in detail, about the structure that helps us, different structure that helps us to state purposes. But again and again, what I need to tell you is that as a high school student, you are expected to be familiar with the meaning, okay? Mastering the rule or else the pattern doesn't put you in a guarantee situation, yes, or else in a guarantee position. It's not, you are not guaranteed, okay, simply mastering, but you have to know the meaning, you have to practice, you have to make sentence, different types of sentences that status purpose with the help of the structure or the rule that I gave you. When you practice a lot, you become good at it, yes. This is what I advise you, yes. So now here, after I said this one, when you come to this, look, purpose clause, so that and in order that, already I told you, for fear that, here there is a problem, here there is a problem. Okay, lest and for fear that, for is another, already I told you, we must not write together with less, because already I told you how we use for. Anyway, here we do have example, so that and in order that are followed by clause to express purpose. This is already what we have seen. She stayed, for instance, another additional, she stayed at work late. That means in order to, or else so as to complete the report. Yes, this is we saw as to and in order to, they are followed by what? That is complete. This is verb phrase. But if it is in order that and so that, that means already we have seen this one, it is followed by what? Clause. That means, okay, she is subject and could, at least could complete. This is a verb. The minimum to say clause, I told you that there must be subject plus verb. That is enough to say clauses. So that's why here we use so that and in order that. Again, advice is given in order that, so that students can choose. This is additional example. You can read it for you. Already about for, I gave you, or else I display, or else discuss about this for. For also used to express purpose, to talk about the purpose of an action. For is followed by a noun, and to is followed by infinitive with to. Infinitive, that is a verb. Yes? For instance, I'm saving for a new car. Have you seen? I'm saving for what? That means for a new car. But if this one is a noun and noun phrase, that means, okay, we use what we call this for. Look, I'm saving to buy, we say, not for buy, to buy a new car. But student, sometimes there is possibility that for is followed by ing when the intention of the sentence is, for instance, to talk about the purpose of thing, or else when we state about the purpose of the thing, or define it as when our intention is like that, there is possibility even for is immediately followed by ing. That means, for instance, this is good. Have you seen the purpose of the thing? This is good for getting rid of the headaches. Have you seen? A mouse is a device. This is defining. When we define, there is possibility that for is followed again by ing. Then see the purpose, analyze the sentence. When you see like this, that means, okay, you may not be confused when you are asked. So that is why I firmly advise you not only mastering the rule, even please analyze, look, the meaning that means, okay? What does it mean? That helps you. For instance, this is good when we state purpose of a thing, or else to define it, that means, okay, something, we use what we call for plus ing. That means for getting rid of headache, for moving, that means, okay, for moving. A mouse is a device for moving, it said. Therefore, from this, we can understand that don't fix your mind that for always only followed by a noun phrase. There is possibility that it can be followed by participle phrase. So that participle, it has intention. When we use participle, that means, okay, when we define and when we talk about the purpose of a certain thing, we use ing after for, or else when we define something, we use what we call, okay, this ing after for. So correct any mistake in this sentence. It says, for instance, I put mud under the hot cup for stopping it damaging. That means, okay, here I put mud under the hot cup, not for stopping. We don't say, yes, here to stop it damaging the table. The new paint is excellent to covering, that means, okay, excellent. The purpose of when the sentence, the intention of the sentence is the purpose of the thing, to define, to tell us the purpose of the thing, we use what we call for covering. Yes, for covering walls with cracks. He took the job not in order to, not must be here. Yes, have you seen? If it is written like this, already previously I show you, or else we have seen that this pattern is, and then even I told you that most of the time people may make a mistake fixing their mind what we discussed after in order to, and so as to, when we make a sentence, a negative sentence, we said that not must come before to. But here, this is another point. Therefore, not must not be placed here. Then we say what? He took the job not in order to earn more money, but to live closer to his sister. This is what you have to remember. Less than fulfill that, already I told you. Then here, less than fulfill that used to express what? Purpose. Already I told you. Less fulfill that are followed by lest or lest, or this must be like this, it must be written not for, lest or forfeit that, for, okay, like this, forfeit that, that means are followed by should. Here in the example you'll see, he doesn't, or else he didn't dare to leave the house, lest or forfeit that someone should recognize him. Have you seen? And again, a mouse is a device for moving the cursor, and a computer, this is wrong totally. You can see this one. That means, okay, sometimes purpose clause comes at the beginning, yes, and then here don't forget that means, okay, here that means we use like this to make clear for you. Look here, that means list or forfeit that, list or forfeit that are followed by should. Yes. And then already here you do have, he doesn't or didn't dare to leave the house, lest or else fulfill that. Even previously I gave you my own example, therefore you can master. This one is wrong, is to be written here. Then sometimes purpose clause come at the beginning. Here example you do have, in order to, or else to prevent vandalism, all doors and windows must be locked securely. That means, yes. And then there is possibility, not only in the middle of the sentence, that this in order to, or else purpose, structure, or this pattern, this word is come. But sometimes there is possibility, we can write, we can begin, okay, the sentence with in order to, or else to prevent. That means, okay, to prevent is, that means with to, in order to, or else so as to. This is what you have to remember. Purpose clause at the beginning. We want to include a subject before the infinitive verb. We can begin a purpose with in order for, or and a noun phrase, or else a pronoun. Okay, this is another point. Let me tell you something here. Let me tell you, for instance, the other pattern that you are expected to be familiar is this one, in order for. In order for, that means, okay, you, that means subject, then the pattern is subject, then infinitive with to. We can have this type of structure, infinitive with to, yes. For instance, I can give you example, but later on you will see much more about this sentence, this example about in order for. For instance, we can use like this, in order for you to be successful, you are expected to work hard. Have you seen? Here, in order for you, not in order to. That is another pattern. If it is in order for you, subject comes, then infinitive with to. This is what you have to remember. Much more here, you do have example, and then you can see in the example, that means, okay, much more concerning this one. Look here, in order for the team, have you seen? In order for the team to succeed, they must work together. In order for you to win, we will need to pray for a miracle. This, have you seen? That means Again, you have to see as an high school student, even this helps you for national exam, especially as grade 12. Up to that, you are expected. It begins, okay, from grade 9, then you have to see every key pointers that help us to state this purpose. So if you are well armed like this, you never ever be confused or else challenges when you are exposed to this purpose questions. Yes, this is what I need to tell you. So this is all what I have about this purpose clause. And then don't forget to subscribe and join our channel. You can see from our presentation and key pointers that it can be advantageous a lot. Things will be very clear for you, especially at high school, and particularly those students who are preparing yourself for national exam, for grade 12 national exam. You will get a detailed knowledge from this presentation. And then don't forget to follow, to subscribe. And in addition, if you do have any comments, you can just jot down that one. So for today, we discussed about this purpose clause. Then next time, we will see about this result clause. Till that, I want to say goodbye. Thank you very much.